You can
So we'll just
yeah,
start in few minutes.
sure. So as I understand, this is a parallel thing, as in it's on. Cannot use those surfaces. So, and you don't need to provide parking for 250 cars, then all your 20,000 square meters is gone, right? So don't try to look at solutions which are going to add to the problem. So, yeah.
Yes, and one of the another query was if there's already a developed site and it's not producing any positive outcome. So can the participants redesign that existing site also, which is already developed?
Absolutely, yes.
Yes.
And pick it. I don't know if it will fit within your given format and number of sheets to justify or to show why they think it's not functional anymore. If a part of your submission can be dedicated to that, I think it will add value to the submission than just saying that it was there and it doesn't work anymore. So why it doesn't work, why you think it doesn't work, and that will then tie up to your own solutions on how you have added value to the site.
Yeah.
Through
Yeah,
that.
like your site analysis could kind of spell out what the problems are. Yeah, you can definitely. I mean, I think the whole brief stems out of the idea that there are multiple such spaces which do more harm than good or are not working correctly. So, yeah, more than happy to have such sites.
So there was a question in the questionnaire that I would like to spell out. There was a question which said whether the site can be in the peri-urban areas, and it can. Or the edge of the city. I think one should be careful on. Yes, definitely it can be in the peri-urban city edge conditions, but be careful on the site, as in the infrastructure project that you choose should be a proposed or under development one, and not something that the student proposes by themselves. I think that is something that everyone has to be slightly careful about. So we are not looking at a completely vacant site where student is designing the infrastructure and also the landscape part of it. There has to be, even if it's not on ground, even a proposal if it's in place can be taken up.
This is the quietest decoding session I have ever attended. Usually there are questions and more questions.
I think I think it makes sense that the brief is extremely well spelled out and well written. So people don't seem to have questions.
No, the bigger danger is abhi to 20th January submission, so we haven't started working on it. This is
Yeah.
Yes, Arya.
Oh, hello, ma'am. Good evening.
Good
Actually, I have joined it late. I don't know whether it has been repeated earlier. I had a doubt.
Yes, please go ahead.
Actually, it was regarding the site which we are picking and the problem which we are raising up. Can it be a like kind of the famous issue which is going on in the city or something which we students have to address something new?
Example, can you just um,
Like for example, there are like various ongoing projects by government, but it is not exactly implemented how it is stated on onlines and everywhere, the websites. So
no,
can we
you
pick up
can.
such?
Yeah, absolutely. You can pick up anything which matches the brief. So yes, you can. And in fact, I would suggest be bold with your solutions. You don't have to play safe. I mean, you don't have to only correct what you think is wrong. You can propose something completely different from what is existing. Like you don't have to worry, the pavement is already there. So we decided next to it, parallelly, we'll, do something which should have been done. So you can get rid of the pavement and put it where you think it should be. So yeah, of course, you should look at existing projects, ongoing projects, proposed projects which have some nice pictures floating but are, kind of, they don't seem to be right, all of that. But again, at least like Maithili also said, in your site, presenting your site, put across all of this, like put across why you believe this is where you need to intervene. So even if it is proposed halfway there, put in supporting data which says that this is what's going to happen. There's a tunnel cutting through the national park in Mumbai, and those kind of things. So there should be some, put up a newspaper article, put up some valid thing which tells you this is the way it's going on and why you believe you need to offer a different stand to it. Be fearless about choice of site and choice of solution both.
Okay.
It's an
can we
academic
demolish,
exercise, bolder the better. We are happy. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
yeah, can we demolish the illegal proposed developments?
Illegal proposed, वो कैसे होता है?
Means which is already either existing or in like construction.
No,
Yes,
if it is proposed, it won't be illegal, no?
No, just like the slum area or something, the areas which they are building up, but which is illegal. Like it is not legally being there to be built up.
Okay, I mean, I suppose you can. Again, I think the context is important. If they have been existing before the infrastructure, I mean, I think you just need to clearly present the picture. Yes, you can. I mean, you can remove encroachments. People may not even be safe living next to railway lines or at the airport boundaries or something, or wherever that you're considering. Or if there is some toxicity in the water due to some industry or so yeah, you can. Again, I think it's all a part of presenting your site analysis where you say if you're moving some land use, if you're changing something, why are you doing that? It's a one-liner. It's not like we are looking at records of years or something. You can just say that this is illegal or this is encroachment, this is unsafe, and you're proposing to shift it.
I'd like to add, Arya. So when you're talking about these, squatters or encroachments, just study them better, like how they're suggesting. But also be aware of what transit-oriented development-related policy document also suggests. It very clearly says within the 800 meters sort of a distance. I suggest you go through these policies first of all. it also says that the 30% of area has to be allocated for EWS, LIG, and MIG segment of residential buildings. Now, if you look at examples in east of Delhi, I think they have successfully with DDA implemented these projects where there's a huge slum which they have rehabilitated, taken that area and built these high rises. One needs to understand that when you're looking at a transit TOD project, it also means that you're looking at a high density mixed use development, right? So when you're saying, I will remove this, look at the size and nature of settlement. And if you can say that within half or 1/4 of that site availability, you can construct these, high rises where you can rehabilitate them, then great, So just study that and justify. If they are encroaching the roads and onto the tracks and things like that, of course they can be removed or demolished. So safety standards, yes, but of course look at how would you relocate them. It's just not erasing people in the urban realm, right?
So one of the questions from YouTube live session we have got is, can you please suggest or tell some articles that support the construction of the design or construction of the brief that we are asking students to do?
You mean case studies?
I guess it's that only.
Or because Aparna mentioned policy documents, is it to do with that?
Is it that?
I guess it's related to design.
Okay.
Okay. So IODI has certain guidelines. Then you do have ITDP, which is Institute of Transportation and Development. So ITDP also has certain guidelines and policy documents. If you actually go onto their website, you have multiple publications which talk about safety standards, which talk about living quality standards, then neighborhood design standards for elderly, for children, in transit oriented development. So you can go through these. It's a good resource. And I think our Ministry of Housing and MOHUA, Housing and Urban Affairs, I guess.
Yeah.
So they have, if you go onto their website, there's a policy document which has been developed in collaboration with a lot of agencies. So what we have done is in the Excel sheet of queries that you have asked, right? So we have added one sheet where certain links are provided where you can go and look at or access these documents. They are free source and they are easily available and downloadable documents, right? But the thing is also that don't go too much into it because it'll take you into urban design and urban planning more so. So try and absorb or take only that is essential for you for this particular scale and intervention that you're looking at.
Yeah, I think case studies directly may be a little difficult because that really depends on what infrastructure you're looking at. So that's why, these words, blue-green infrastructure, nature-based solutions, I think if you just look at those and just see what they mean. And also you're going to be limited by your scale, that 20,000, 25,000, whatever that is. So you might, if you look too big or if you look like she mentioned at planning scale, it might just unnecessarily confuse you. It is not that difficult a brief. So don't overcomplicate it. Yeah, Maithili, you were saying something. I think I interrupted.
No, I was trying to type in more, but it's not allowing me. Even DUIC, Delhi Urban Arts Commission, has well documented about the. I think the sharing, message sharing rights are only open for. Yeah. It's all available on the website. So, yeah.
So, just to add, the scales that we're looking at with the project site or site size that has been given to you of 15,000 to 20,000, which roughly is again 3 to 5 acres, which falls somewhere there. So within that, see, when you're looking at intervention scales, you're looking at a micro, meso or a neighborhood level scale, and you're looking at a macro, which is city level scale. So the site that you pick, like in one of the questions, somebody was asking, should I pick a water body, right? So you need not look at those scales of intervention. You can pick a site, and like even Maithili was mentioning, I think she was answering some of those questions as well. So water, when you're looking at water infrastructure or something like that, or water related ecology, you are looking at two things. You're looking at runoff and percolation. Now, one primary thing one needs to understand is that you not necessarily have to have a stream or a lake or a river connection to your site. You can find the site, you can give macro level interventions, you can give neighborhood level interventions. And the thing that you need to understand is there is either runoff generated because of your transit corridors, because they are all hard paved, your cycle tracks are hard paved, your roads are hard paved, your, let us say your metro rail is a hard paved surface. End of the day, it generates a lot of runoff, right? So the idea is to capture that runoff, right? So the paved areas generate runoff while your softscape allows for percolation. So you need to look at some ideas where you can balance this out. So if there is 50% paved area because of the typology itself, don't try to put more paving, right? So look at pervious and impervious surfaces as strategies. And the other thing I would like to say is when you're looking at, let us say, blue-green infrastructure, then, how does it support habitat around it? Now, we're not talking about urban forests, right? But we are looking at little pocket parks, which are both public infrastructure for people, for society that lives in that area, in that belt. And we are also looking at habitats such as, let us say, pollinators. You're looking at little birds that can nest, right? You're looking at nocturnal insects, but you're not looking at the tigers or the elephants, right? So we are not looking at those scales. We're looking at very minor, doable sort of scales that you interact with on a daily basis, right? So, so you need to understand the scale. So do not zoom out so much and do not think that 3 or 5 acres is too small. There are multiple strategies where you can integrate these ideas and work and, improve this whole development that you're choosing.
So I think there is a question and that appeared in the Excel sheet also. Can we take site in pockets? So, so when such infrastructure develops in a city, first thing it does is fragment